Ian Rappaport saying yesterday that it's very much in the air, the status of Flacco. He had a limited practice on Thursday. Very much in the air. Rappaport's a guy that just does what the team wants. Like, hey, just throw this out there, float this. It doesn't mean it's a reality. Very much up in the air. That means nothing to me. Yeah, I know he was limited in practice on Thursday. That means it's up in the air. He was not having a full practice. Okay, we're a few days away from the game at that point. So I tend to believe, Chase, that it's probably not serious if the star wide receiver with 99 targets to lead the NFL, the guy that has 16 more targets than anybody else in the league, I kind of believe him. I think he would know if it was in doubt, because if it were in doubt, they'd be like, Jamar, I'd have to go to Browning. It could be bad. Could be really bad. The market is saying that Flacco's playing, right? Go ahead.
Yes. I believe players more than I believe the teams and the reporters, because sure. I was adding more Baltimore last Friday when I saw Adam Schefter tweet that Lamar Jackson was probable to play. So I bet more Baltimore at -6.5. And by the time the dust settled from that announcement, like I told everybody, I've been saying this, I get the Underdog NFL tweets right to my phone. So on the home screen, Underdog NFL will have a push notification and it'll say Schefter, Lamar Jackson, good to go. And I saw it and I was like, oh, all right, let me bet more Baltimore. So I laid 6.5 on top of the 6 I already laid. And then Saturday, driving around doing the grocery runs and doing all this stuff and going to the gym. And then I get a push notification from Underdog, Adam Schefter, Lamar Jackson's not playing. I'm like,
what a mess.
What? Like, how do you go from probable to not playing? And then the Ravens had to recant, and the Ravens actually went back in time. And I know we've talked about this, but it's fresh of mind because this is another scenario where you have a quarterback that probably is going to play, but we don't know for sure. The Ravens posted their injury report and said, oh, by the way, Lamar wasn't practicing. He was limited at practice. And you're like, how is this a thing? And luckily, that was a bet that I was still able to win because the Ravens covered all the numbers, even though the market closed at 2.5. But it's hard to trust reporters to bring this rant full circle, because the reporters, as Joe has pointed out, just report what the team wants you to report. The players don't give a damn. So when Jamar Chase is like, yeah, he's fine, I believe Jamar Chase. Remember, there was a Kittle McCaffrey scenario a couple weeks ago when McCaffrey was doubtful, and then they caught Kittle like, yeah, he's going to play. He's fine. And then you and I are like, oh, do we trust Kittle or do we trust the reporters? Turns out the players are more truthful than the reporters sometimes, because the players speak from the heart. They're not giving you drivel that is directed from other people to drive. It's stupid, man. And we had McMurphy on yesterday in college. Like, these fines need to get bigger. The Ravens should be penalized for lying about Lamar Jackson's availability.
Start taking picks. And they should lose picks for that. Lose picks. We know how valuable those are. Yeah, then they'll be doing something. All right, Chase with Flacco. It's been 3 games. When Flacco's out there, Chase has averaged 13 receptions, 18 targets, averaged 18 targets per game, and 115 yards in those 3 games. So that's why you get out there with the number. I do see it as low as 90.5. He'll probably still get there. I'm not going to bet it, but he'll probably get there. Expecting Flacco to play. Rome Odunze, he was limited yesterday. But speaking of trusting the players, he said he's playing. I think he'll be fine. His number 62.5 against the worst defense in the NFL. Plus 120 for an anytime touchdown. If you're looking for prop angles, I would trust Rome Odunze. If the Bears don't put up 30 plus against this piece of crap defense, there are going to be screams from every corner of this city to bench Caleb Williams. That's where we're at right now. That was a terrible Ravens defense going into that game that they faced last week on the road against a backup quarterback. Like, come on, can you put up enough to beat this backup quarterback? The Bears cannot. But now this team, 32nd EPA per play, 32nd success rate, EPA per pass on defense, 32nd, dead last again. They're a joke. They gave up 502 yards to the Jets last week. The Bears better score 30 plus. I don't know where you're at in the game. I don't love. I don't know that it would make a top 5. We'll find out by the end of the show. I do like the Bears minus 2.5. That is juiced. Pinnacle's already at 3. Maybe they're waiting on the status of Flacco, I assume. But the market is telling me that this is headed to Bears as field goal favorites.
It is funny that Flacco is still out there flinging at his age. He doesn't want to be at home. He doesn't want to be off the football field. He just wants the ball, man. He does. I think the over is a good bet at 51. This was 53. Guys came in, bet it under. I think we see this float back a little bit higher. So at 51, I would be looking long and hard at the over 51.
All right. There you have it on that matchup. Bears, Bengals, and let's stay in the NFC North, a game that we touched on a little bit ago. We've got the Lions and the Vikings. The Lions are a home favorite here off a bye, a favorite of 8.5. The Vikings have been an over team because they're not stopping anybody. You look at the last couple of games, they gave up 37 to the Chargers, 28 to the Eagles. And now we have a switch at quarterback once again. Wentz is out for the year. J.J. McCarthy, no longer the emergency quarterback in back-to-back weeks. He is now going to be the starting quarterback in this game on the road. Detroit, NFC North matchup. Good luck, kid. What you got on this one?
I'm just very, very proud of my fantasy team right now. I'm starting 7 guys that I didn't even have on my roster, and I've strung together 3 straight wins, mostly because Jared Goff's been doing his thing. So I get Goff against this defense, which he's carved up. The thing about Goff is you got to get to him. If you're going to throw the pressure like Brian Flores says, you better get home. Because if you don't, there's Jahmyr Gibbs with 1 man to beat. There's St. Brown uncovered. There's Laporta wide open, middle of the field, nobody around him. Oh, there's Jameson Williams deep. If you don't get home, he's going to just sit back there and pick you off. And that's what I'm hoping for fantasy purposes. It's a big pot that I'd like. I mean, it's a big pot at the end of the year. I thought I was dead 3 weeks ago, but Goff is keeping me afloat along with my trade for DeAndre Swift, which has worked out pretty well. Goff should have a monster game. Do you get the offense, though, from Minnesota? Like, I'm inclined to think over, but I don't know that Minnesota's going to score. So I don't know what to do with the side and the total. I'm going to look at some Goff props. That's what I'm going to do.
Almost every game this year that the Lions have won, they've covered a number like this. If you put this point spread on all these games, and it's Minnesota. This defense still has metrics that are like, man, they're still good, right? I don't know. What we're seeing of lately with this team, I don't know. And now you're going to Detroit, where they're always comfortable, and they usually put up a big number. But even last week, offensively, they weren't great. They get to the 24 number against Tampa Bay. But guess what? They still won by 15. Because they didn't give up anything defensively. Baker had a rough day on the road there. And if Baker's struggling on the road in Detroit, how do you think McCarthy's going to be? The guy that they didn't want to put out there. Say whatever you want. They would rather have Wentz out there than McCarthy. They were not rushing to get him back on the field. Good enough to play for back-to-back weeks. Yes, he's good enough to play. Is he playing? No. That should tell us everything. Good enough to play if we need him. Yeah. Is he playing? No. Is he starting? Is he the backup? No. Only if we have 2 injuries, then we're going to J.J. McCarthy.
All right, let's just bet the
alarming,
Lions.
Man.
Let's just bet the Lions. Get it over with. Yeah, I'm putting it in my 5. Well, I just went back to my pick 5 last week, where we picked, you and I and Paul were all in the same contest. I picked 5 games, 3 favorites, and 2 dogs. The favorites went 3-0, the dogs went 0-2. So
Right.
At this point,
I know.
spin
Should have
it.
done more.
Just spin it on Lions.
All right. That's where I'm at. Here's a dog that we thought we liked early in the week, but I'm having trouble getting there. And maybe it's recency bias because of what's happened, but I think it's more about the injury report. Falcons, Patriots. This number has not moved, and it is hanging in a weird spot for it not to move all week. Like, it's normal to see numbers like 3, 3.5, 7. Those are going to stick all week, right? You don't see movement there. It feels like people don't know what to do with this game, which I kind of understand. So the Patriots, a home favorite over Atlanta. Atlanta embarrassed at home last week, 34-10 against Miami. They do nothing offensively with Kirk Cousins, but it looks like it's going to be Penix. I think he's limited in practice on Thursday. So is the number one receiver, Drake London, also limited. So that's where it's a challenge. What if it's Cousins without London again? How do you feel about them going on the road to New England? A team that is red hot, now winners of 5 straight games. And then you've got Drake May, who's slinging it all over the field. And that Falcons defense, what happened last week? Tua, he had 4 touchdown passes to 4 different receivers. So how's it going to work with Drake May? Their passing game much more successful than Miami's this season. So that's a concern. And your biggest weapon for the Falcons is Bijan. Where do the Patriots excel on defense? Stopping the run. Yeah, so first glance, I was like, oh, maybe we can get there with the Falcons. This feels like a lot based on the injury report, looking at the matchup. I don't have anything on this game. How about you?
I did notice yesterday the 6.5 and the 6 got bet. And there's not really, outside of Pinnacle, I don't see another
you're right.
6
It did
right
move
now on the board.
Right.
I mean, it moved up, but it came right back. So it came
back.
It's right where it opened. It's not like it's much different from where Superbook on Sunday night opened at 5. So we're 5.5. Now, it did go up a little bit, but there was an appetite to bet Atlanta. Bear, I think, is going to bet Atlanta. I think he's on the Falcons here. He's still alive in the last man standing. 25 people.
Is he using it for that?
In the contest. I'm almost positive. He said as much on the show yesterday. He said he thinks he's going to go Atlanta. That's one pick, one bullet a week. Only 25 people left in the last man standing, and he's eyeing Atlanta. So I know, and I mean, it's hard to knock somebody who's still alive in last man standing, but I'm like, oh, Atlanta,
right?
Oh,
man, how much are they talking about 28-3 this week in Boston with this matchup?
I don't know.
Is it even mentioned?
I haven't listened since Monday when they were saying Drake May is better than Tom Brady.
You're like, I'm checking out. I'll check back when they lose.
Yeah. The one guy's like, he throws a better ball. It's a better ball. He's way better at the deep ball. And actually, statistically, he is better in year 2 than Brady was in year 2. But it is funny. You turn the radio on Monday morning. He's better than Brady was. You're like, click.
Just don't put him in the same sentence. Man, the Bijan prop keeps going down. I looked yesterday, it was 69.5. Now it's 63.5. Whew. You're not fooling them. People are going to see Bijan 63.5, and they're going to bet the over. This matchup's tough. I'm not doing anything. Not doing anything in this game.